and I chair the entrepreneurship department, and Dr. Forgy chairs the real estate department, and then, as you know, Professor Babcock is in charge of Shark Cage. He works with Fred and I in our department, and Sylvia Orta is our very special from the education school person, and I call her college. We used to be schools here. I call her American Express, and I won't leave home without it, because she is from Cuba originally and knows everybody there. She's like a rock star in Cuba, so everybody knows who Sylvia is. And she ran a big agency, which is like a company, for many years there, and immigrated to the U.S. and got her doctorate here at our university and teaches at the education school. So she is an instrumental part of this, and she has arranged, originally, she and I visited, the first year we didn't get to go to a foundation that we'll be going to. And they are part of the Catholic Church. Have you all heard the story about what they do? They do a mini MBA there. Only it's against the law to teach Spanish, to teach business to Cubans because it's a communist country. And so we asked them how they got around that. He says, it's very simple. We're allowed to worship. So the first class we have with our students, we worship marketing. The second class, we worship accounting. And they go on and on. So what you'll find in Cuba is they find ways to get around problems. And you know, it's not a good situation. You'll see why socialism doesn't work. But it's the people are great, and we just love going there. So this trip is really interesting. You saw from the itinerary, we're actually going to make 3 other stops. And nothing, well, I'll go back to the end of the trip first. Whatever we plan in Cuba doesn't usually work out. We have to change how we're going to do it. Something always falls apart. But we're getting better at it, but it's hard. So that's part of the fun. But we'll have speakers in each port, except for Cozumel. So we're going to go to Jamaica first. We're trying to arrange for a woman entrepreneur who I met many years ago. We used to have a branch in Jamaica, and I taught there for the university. And she started a business, and you'll hear all about it, but she really did a terrific job. She is a true entrepreneur and is a startup, was a disruptor, and it was something nobody ever heard of, and really, really, really cool. And she has branches all over the country. Now, I don't know if she sold that company or what. We're trying to communicate. I haven't got a hold of her yet, but we have mutual friends. I feel very strongly we'll get her. Guy Harvey is from Grand Cayman. He has accepted our invitation. And so he is such a celebrity that when you get an acceptance from him, and our Dean Jones arranged it, there's always a caveat that says, unless there's something that comes up that I cannot get out. So right now, he is set up for Grand Cayman. For some reason that doesn't work out, then we'll have a backup plan. Cozumel, we're thinking seriously about just goofing off. So I've not been there before. I love the snorkel. There's a snorkeling beach, supposed to be pretty good. Used to be turtles swimming in the harbor in the old days. That's still the case? You see turtles? So that's kind of cool. So we'll have maybe a couple activities planned. And once we're in Cuba, it's more structured. We'll always be in groups in Cuba, anywhere. We'll be always in groups of 4 or 5. We don't want you by yourself anywhere. Because like any tourist destination, you know, it could be an unsafe situation. We've never had a problem. But when we're in groups, we don't have a problem. So we'll talk about all that before we leave, but it's important that each cabin, there's 2 textbooks. I got a new one, by the way, to read. There could be a 3rd one. There's 2 small textbooks you'll read before the trip, and you'll do a book review. Give me a paragraph in each chapter, and then we're going to assign a chapter to each statement. There's 2 to a statement, and then you're going to do a presentation while we're at sea, and during that presentation, you'll take that chapter to the next level. That would be maybe using YouTube videos or research, outside research, and bring it to us. And that's a big part of your grade. So you got your book review, you've got your presentation, and that presentation is, Fred, 15 minutes? About 15, 20 minutes? We'll do Q&A after that. Okay. And then you'll have a blog you're going to be doing on the trip. And if you don't know how to do a blog or take pictures and post them yet, then we'll teach you how to do that. We'll have you do blogging. And that gives us great publicity for the school. It also gives you a chance to practice a blog. You're going to, if you go to our website, one of our favorite bloggers, Lauren, have you all been to the website and seen the trip? Have you done this? Go click on the website for entrepreneurship, and it's probably for the grad school. You can go to the graduate school website, and then click on this trip. You'll see, go to entrepreneurship, hit the kind of navigate your way through, get to the entrepreneurship concentration, and you'll see a picture of the ship and all that, and then from 2 years ago, and then you'll click on her blog and get an idea of what we're talking about. Those are your 3 parts of your grade. You won't get your grade till winter. It's really a winter course because classes are out just before we leave. So that really is kind of my summary. Dr. Forkey, what else? What am I leaving out?
You covered that part. Absolutely.
Okay, tell your buddies they got to start coming to these meetings because we have to have these meetings before we leave. And then, excuse me, we'll do some research at Cuba. I introduce some entrepreneurs. We'll visit some companies there. The 25% of the Cuban economy is private sector. And that's incredible when you're working in a communist country because you have to find ways just to get their basic needs, their basic resources. Oh, I know something about that. Before we leave, we'll want you to go to a Walmart or something like that and buy kind of an inexpensive backpack and fill it full of things like soap and shampoo and shaving cream and any kind of necessities that we take for granted because the Cuban people can't get that stuff. Or it's very, very expensive. And we donate those bags to the Catholic Church. Because we're getting them before Christmas, they'll distribute those to the people in their congregation before Christmas. So you may want to have a couple of little toys there too for the little kids. So think about that. We got plenty of time. And we'll teach you how to smuggle those into Cuba. We're not supposed to do this, but we haven't gotten arrested yet. So we'll just go through customs with our backpack and they'll say what's in the backpack and then they put it through a scanner. And he said, well, we're going for the day, and maybe we'll spend the night. We need all these things too. You might get smelly or dirty, so you do order. But you go up and down the aisles. Dr. Forkey and I go. You go with us if you want. We go up and down the aisles, and we just fill it up. And it's just imagine how we take for granted anything we want. We just go to Walgreens or something and buy it. You can't do it there. They have so little. So it's a very important part of our trip. It's a way we can pay back the church for helping us with the foundation to do the lectures. But also means we can help out a little bit. Okay. Anything else? No?
I've got a few
Sylvia,
things.
you want to say anything?
Well, we are visiting entrepreneurs in Havana. We are planning that, but we are also going to do a tour for Havana. Last year it was a lot of fun because we were on convertibles.
Built in the 50s.
9 convertibles, and it was a lot of fun.
So we'll see the city.
Then you will see the city.
It's a beautiful city. Needs some paint, but it's absolutely beautiful. You can imagine, University of Havana was started 500 years ago, and we can't get an educational license to get a lecture there. We'd love to. We've been trying for years.
You can come by and you will see.
We'll see the university. Yeah. And we might even consider a tour.
And from the ship, you can go to Old Havana, which is the most interesting part.
Yeah.
Walking, I mean, it's safe, it's beautiful, and it's
a
fun.
beautiful city. One of my favorite plazas, the old plaza, Plaza Viejo, it's right near the ship. And we'll walk into the plaza, there's an old cathedral there, you can walk through, and it's a great little restaurant we like to go to over there. So that is pretty neat. As a child, it was a vacation spot. I was born in Miami. And my dad was a little dairy plant in Miami, but he also was a consultant. And he ran all the dairy plants in Cuba, in Havana. And so as a child, we would go there every couple of years as a little guy.
And I was born there, and I came to America 20 years ago.
Yeah. And you have
And I have been working ever since for Nova.
How about that? Is that cool? What do you have, Dr. Forkey?
Okay. Well, I've got the task of taking care of kind of all the logistics with regard to the trip. So obviously you've been getting my emails and requests for information and that sort of thing. And so just kind of go through some of the things that you probably just need to be aware of and get back to me and so forth. So one of the things that you've got there in front of you is a required liability waiver for the university. I don't need it today, but you can go ahead and fill it out, read through it, and then give it back to me once that you've got it signed. But we do have to have that prior to departure.
Can I interrupt 1 second? In case your parents ask, the university belongs to a risk assessment company, and they do risk assessments for all over the world because other groups do other trips, and Cuba is one of the safest. and your parents and you have heard about this situation where the people in the embassy got some kind of it's a microwave thing I think now, but some kind of a brain issue, and they were all embassy personnel, who turned out they were also all spies. And some other government, the Cuban government, invited the FBI to come down and investigate. If they did it, they would have done that. It was probably the Chinese or the Russians or the Koreans or somebody, we don't know who it was, or the Koreans. But that risk, they have 5 levels of risk, and 1 is the worst, and 5 is the safest. And Cuba last year was ranked 4.2 or something like that. So we feel very, very safe there. This is our 3rd trip doing this. So if their parents have any questions, they can call Dr. Ford here.
So that, get that back to me. Also, get you a copy of the syllabus so that you can kind of read through that. And obviously, Tom has already gone through and kind of explained some of the requirements for the course and that sort of thing. So, but as he mentioned, you will be signing up for the course in the winter term. So, but you'll need to sign up for it obviously before we leave in December.
And that's a good point. One student last year didn't actually register for the course. It took us 4 months to get her a grade. So make sure you register for this course. It's winter 1, okay, but it's $49.66 for the undergrads and $59.66 for the grad students.
Also, I went ahead and provided you with a list of everybody that's going. So we've got 36 folks going, and as you can see, kind of a mixture of faculty, graduate students, guests, and Shark Cage students. So what I wanted to do was to give you a chance to, if you want to reach out and contact any of the folks, if you know any of these people, potentially figure out a roommate situation. If you have a preference on that, then just let me know, and then I can get that set up. You'll also notice that in that 3rd column, the 21 and plus, we literally have to have at least half of our people that are over 21, and we literally are right there at it. So it actually worked out perfectly. So we'll have to, when we assign the rooms initially, you'll see that your room assignment may be with somebody that you have no clue. Like potentially you could be roomed up with Professor Roger or myself, but the reality is that will probably not be the actual case. It'll just be temporarily until we get on board the ship and exchange the keys and that sort of thing. But yeah, feel welcome to reach out to any of the other folks on the list, and hopefully get that kind of settled. Another thing, I need you to go ahead and fill out the online survey, the Survey Monkey. I think I sent you a link for that. Please make sure you get that done. I've got to have that information in order to finalize the booking for the trip, because they, believe it or not, they want all of this extraneous information to be able to complete the booking. So make sure you get that done. And also, if you haven't already sent me a picture of your, or a scan of your passport, make sure that I get that as well. And I need that as soon as possible.
Is anybody that we know of, Cheryl, anybody we know that's Cuban born?
Yes. Well, he wasn't born in Cuba, but his family is.
Okay.
A couple.
Is he an American citizen? Okay, he's okay. The Cuban-born students have to have a visa through the Cuban government. We can't arrange that. The rest of you guys, we take care of. The price you pay, everything is done. All right, unless you want to. I take back, we're not buying any gifts for you. You can buy your own gifts. So it's all inclusive. But
With the exception of alcohol and
but they can't.
I understand.
That's what it is. Right. So the same rules apply here in the U.S. They're going to enforce on the shit too.
And if they haven't done that Survey Monkey thing yet, they leave the visa part of that blank.
Yeah.
Right.
And then last thing was just obviously an itinerary and a nice little map, so we kind of have a perspective of when we're going to be in each location for how long, and obviously we are overnight in Havana on Saturday night. And you want to talk a little bit about the whole nighttime experience thing?
Yeah, there's going to be a, as mentioned, while we're at sea, we'll do our presentations. So we won't take the whole day, because the ship's going to have a, gym. And by the way, the dress is casual. You might bring, we're going to December, so you might bring like maybe a windbreaker or just something real light. You don't overpack on this thing. But we're going to be typically, when we visit the church on Saturday, short shorts are not acceptable. In Jamaica, got to be a little more conservative also. So we can't, you got to respect these countries. And we're really ambassadors representing the United States, particularly in Cuba. But where we're going are former British colonies, like in Jamaica and Cayman Island. Even though they're casual, what we sometimes consider casual, maybe not what they consider casual. So we be a little bit on the conservative side, but you won't need to have anything to dress, there'll be no dressing up as such. And I might bring one pair of slacks, just, I know we wear shorts the whole time.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much, so it's gonna be warm, even though it's December, because we're gonna be in the spring. Okay, well, question Saturday night.
Yep.
For Saturday night, the undergrad group will be going to the fort. There's a really neat fort not far from the ship, and they had this whole ceremony they go through. It was really one of the most popular parts of our trip last year. And then Saturday morning, we'll be taking a tour of Havana with the convertible cars. And then if you're a grad student, Saturday night's free, but again, you do go in groups. You have to go alone. And then we'll have free time, it looks like, on Sunday afternoon. And like I mentioned, there's this beautiful, not beautiful, but this big arts and crafts, did I say that? Arts and crafts market. All these little stalls, and you can bargain a little bit, you don't get too hard on people. That's how they make their living. But there's beautiful art, and there's also all kinds of great knickknacks. So I go shopping for my little grandsons, and I can get a little toy this and toy that. It's a fun place to go. And we'll have that afternoon, but then the ship leaves at 5 o'clock on Sunday. If you're not there, you won't leave. You'll be stuck in Cuba. That's not good. So we'll meet back in the ship probably an hour and a half before departure.
And you can bring cigars for Christmas present.
That's right.
Not too many, but.
Yeah, you're allowed up to $400 now total. So Cuban rum is allowed, that's the best rum in the world, you're allowed to bring back. So,
And
probably not, if you're not 21 though, you can't.
what about exchanging money?
That was
Oh,
about
good
it.
question.
Go ahead.
You can tell.
So when we get to Cuba, the other locations you probably won't need to exchange, you can pretty much just use your credit cards, but in Cuba, your credit cards won't work. So that is a problem. So you need to bring some cash, and there'll be an exchange station at the actual ship port that they'll be able to exchange into the Cuban, is it peso?
No,
CUC or
CUCs.
CUCs.
They have two types of money in Cuba. They have the locals have pesos, the tourists have to buy these CUCs. Because you're an American, they penalize us 10%.
No.
Just to the exchange rate. So you're going to get about 85 cents on the dollar?
Yeah, roughly.
And that's a dollar for dollar as far as they're concerned.
Yeah.
There.
And you, pretty much, to my knowledge, you can't get Cuban currency here in the U.S. So if you go to like a bank to try to get it beforehand, you
And you can't bring it back. You can bring it back, but it has no value.
Yeah. So that's sometimes a challenge. Anything else you think of?
Well, how much money should you bring? I mean, you're not going to need a lot of money. You're going to get your meals. The ship serves food 24 hours a day, so you're not going to be hungry. And this is an Italian ship, so we're kind of excited about maybe some good Italian food, I don't know. And they have the regular restaurants, and then there's always, if you want to do the upcharge restaurant, all the ships always have these, but you don't have to worry about that. The regular food's fine. But typically it's available 24/7, and I think your beverages, like the Cokes are.
The Cokes are not included. Water, juices, iced tea, I think are all included, but if you get a Coke or alcoholic beverage, then it's an extra charge.
So I can't imagine $100 wouldn't be more than you need. But we are gonna go, anytime we take a trip with the group, it's on us. We're gonna pay, it's part of your fare, you're paying for it, but we have a little money for that. And
I'm not sure about this particular cruise line, whether or not they allow you to bring on like sodas or alcoholic beverages. Some of the cruise lines do, some of them don't, but I'm not.
well, we'll check that out.
Yeah.
That's why we have more meetings.
What is
This, it's called MSC. It's an Italian line, M like Mike, S Sierra.
The ship is the Armonia.
Oh, Armonia?
ARMO.
Yeah, go on the website, check it out. Now, I like to go to spin class, and I haven't checked yet. Most of the ships have a spin class a couple times a day, or once a day, or something like that. So I'll be buying black shoes. And there's usually a gym on board. There's a pool, for sure.
Unknown caller.
So you'll definitely want to bathe this suit. And what else? The rooms are small. You've been on a cruise before, anybody? Okay, so you walk to a room and you go, oh, that's really small. That's just that they're just small. Even the good rooms are small. We don't have any good rooms. So they're small.
How many people are per?
Two.
We could put 3 or 4. We don't do that. That's just crazy.
Basically, they're 2 twin beds the way it's set up.
But you get really neat. Yeah.
I don't know about this ship, but I'm thinking that they're just two regular, just sort of twin beds. But
Typically twin beds.
sometimes you're right, that some of the cruise ships,
That's
they'll have
why
like the
we
Murphy
had
bed thing that
four-
will pop down.
Four of
or-
our buddies are stuck in
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
little box.
But you're not going
Four
to
of
be
us.
too much time in the.
I've done that when I was in,
It wasn't too bad.
but when you want to walk around your bed, it's kind of like this, you got.
Yeah.
So it's, the bath is small. So, but how much time do you spend in your stateroom, right? That's the idea. The ship's got plenty of room.
2 hours a night.
It's a big ship, it's not, wait a minute now. It's not a tiny ship. The first one we were on held 900, this old 1900.
Like that, yeah.
Wow.
So go online, take a look at it. MSC is a. All right, anything else?
Any questions?
As far as those packages, like a, what is it, like a soda package or an
Yeah,
alcohol?
you can usually get those like when you board the ship.
Ah.
Well,
But
maybe beforehand, huh?
Well, we can probably do it beforehand, but I'm just saying that you can do them once you get on board.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right.
All right, cool. No questions? Well, now you know where Dr. Forgy is, you know who I am. We're here pretty much every day. And I know you guys are Professor Babcock. She's bringing her husband with her. You may have the only spouse on board. How about that? I can't talk about seeing them going because it's too close to Christmas for her.
I have a question for the Cuban-born professor. Is there going to be a list of recommended restaurants and such? Can I formally request that list?
Okay, I can put that together.
Okay.
They are all private. The ones that I'm going to recommend you, they are private, and the food is good.
You know, so I got to talk about that. Dr. Jones and I went to a restaurant, I can't remember the name of it, it was a seafood place. Well, I'll describe the area of the town, because I want to find that again too. All right, you guys,
So,
thanks for
the
coming.
food is good.
Next time will be really mandatory. We'll start